Ladies and gents, welcome back to what is known as the final stretch, as they like to call it. The little stretch, the post-Olympic stretch where we had that condensed schedule, and now we have the final sprint to make the playoffs. We had a lot of these players go to the Olympics, and rather than, this first day back, try to guess who's going to be in the lineup, who's not going to be in the lineup. I give you my favorite bet of the day. Oh, you got to take Jack Hughes because he's riding high. They're going to call penalties. He's probably not playing. A bunch of people probably aren't playing. So rather than that, I thought we would kind of look at the rest of the season on a more macro level and see if there's anything that we like in there, or just kind of speak in generalities to our main man here, Josh Inglis, who, I did an Olympic show or two with him during the break, and now we're going to talk a little NHL here. Now, I'm not the type of American who's going to just, I don't know, I'm not much of a gloater, especially, I feel like I've ripped on more Americans than I have Canadians, but if there's anything you want to say about the tournament, even how it relates to the NHL, feel free.
People are going to be gassed. Like, people aren't going to play. Matthews, like, watching Austin Matthews smile as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, like, crushed my soul, because I haven't seen that guy smile in his entirety in Toronto. And these guys are on a bender. These guys are not going to worry about Wednesday, let's just say. So there will be some spots on Wednesday. Do I know what those spots are? No. Will I do some digging
how
around?
About taking how about just take it? The Kings are playing the Golden Knights. And you got Eichel, Stone, Marner, Theodore, I believe.
Rasmus Anderson.
What if a large contingent of them don't play? And then you got Panarin in his first game over there. Maybe a couple Artemi Panarin props. So there you go. There's a couple Wednesday stiffs for you based on.
Do you think the Kings are pissed because their goalie went there and did absolutely nothing?
I think they're a little more pissed because they wanted to make one last run for Kopitar and said, fine, let's go get Panarin. In this weak side of the Western Conference, maybe we just sneak a series or two. Panarin could fix the power play. They were close to going up 3-0 on the Oilers last year, and maybe they were looking at it like, all right, well, this can be the opposite of last. We were a dominant home team. People thought this was our year last year. Now people are kind of discounting us in a division where it's just like, what? As I said last year about Vegas, they're a worse version of the Golden Knights, who were a worse version of the Golden Knights, who were a worse version of the Golden Knights than won the Cup. I think you've seen a slow degradation there. They should have lost to Minnesota last year. They got an overturned goal in Game 5. They ended up winning that series, losing in 5. I don't see much there. William Karlsson's not there. So when you're looking in that division, obviously the Oilers would always be staring down the barrel at them eventually. But I could see what they were thinking. Now they got to be pissed because they lost Fiala. Now they're trying to go get Pettersson. Kopitar's got to appreciate the GM, right? Like, they're not even in a playoff spot, I don't think, and he wants him to go out with a bang. But
are we bumping the Hurricanes? The Panthers are like an 8% chance team to make the playoffs, and like, do you just have a lot more confidence if you're Rod Brind'Amour in Carolina? Obviously the Rantanen thing is a concern, but why do I keep thinking Rantanen's in Carolina every time? I've done that 700 times. Don't worry, he's not there. I know he did that short stint, but in my mind, it's there.
Hey, but you bring up a good point. Yeah, you bring up a good point. We're going to come back to that in a sec. Rantanen, what's the 12 Thoughts, 15 Thoughts podcast? What is that, the Canadian one? Oh, yeah. I'm not kidding. That's all.
12 Thoughts. Isn't that an American donut? Yeah.
I got 12 thoughts about this.
Yeah.
He said Rantanen. He's like, yeah, Rantanen suffered an injury in the last game. It's not believed to be season ending.
Yeah, that
sounds awful.
Yeah.
So really, Carolina was I think the main meat of the sandwich I wanted to talk about. But just a quick before we get there, if Rantanen's going to be out there or is going to be out of the lineup for even 3/4 of the rest of the regular season,
Dunzo.
And what Quinn Hughes has done for that team, and I really liked Minnesota last year. Once I knew Kaprizov was coming back for the playoffs, like I'd mentioned, they pretty much had a 3-2 series lead, overturned goal with a minute left. The first thing I like over there is them to finish second in the division with no Rantanen for plus 120. Is that something?
I think that division's just up for grabs, right?
Second, even first?
No, well, well, not first, but like from 2 down, like people can move up and down. I think the West is wide open. Obviously, the East on the other side. I think it's Columbus. That's just still 5. You go 10-1, and you're still 5 points out in the East. Isn't that crazy for Columbus?
Insane.
I know, but Edmonton can go up. Edmonton could go down. Vegas is a good point. Kind of a very scammy team. I think they're plus 2,200 not to make the playoffs. They're like 93% probable. There's a little value in terms of what money puck has them at and what the price over Fanduel is. If you're looking at someone, I know everybody loves Minnesota, but Andy, down the stretch, they've been the best over team in hockey, and that usually isn't predictive of a good playoff team. Gustafsson's fell down. Yeah. Wallstedt, as like, if anybody still thinks Wallstedt's the goalie he was over that December run, he's not. And Quinn Hughes, yes, brings a lot of stuff. Great defensive shutdown work, isn't some of it?
I completely agree with that. I got into an argument with my brother, and I'm probably on the worst side of this. He said, if you could have Quinn Hughes or Rasmus Dahlin for the rest of their career, who would you take?
I like Dahlin more than he's gone up my rankings. He's like number 4 defenseman in hockey.
This all goes back to winning championships. And from what I've seen my entire life through this shift of a defense, or when I was a kid, an offensive NHL to a trap defensive NHL to the new NHL, the one way I continue to see to win is having an overly in-your-face, physical style, bigger defenseman who can get physical. And we've seen that with a bunch of these teams. Now let's move back over to the Eastern Conference, where I truly think you have 2 Stanley Cup hopeful teams whose nightmare matchup, it's just a brutal matchup for them, with all the Olympic involvement from the Florida Panthers. I really see them having a hard time simply because of what you said. You have Columbus is going 10-2. You have so many teams. The New York Islanders are the fakest playoff team you've ever seen. The Pittsburgh Penguins are an even faker playoff team. The Detroit Red Wings, these teams are so disposable come playoff time. So I'm seeing those Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes, and I've been a big fan of when you pay your price, one of the years you get your cup. The Vegas Golden Knights, they go to the Stanley Cup final. They go to the Western Conference final, a second Western Conference final. Then they win a Stanley Cup. The Hurricanes have paid their dues. They play just like the Panthers, just without as many high-end performers. And when you look at the Metro Division, they're going to play some dinky team who's the one of the 2 wild cards. And then, as of right now, the winner of the Islanders-Penguins series. And they're in the conference final after that. So many times I say, when you're talking about bets and you're talking about like prices, people, every year we started our preseason show talking about it. How are the Hurricanes favored to win? Did you not see them get swept? No, it's because of the scam route. If you could say, yeah, they're pretty much starting the year in the conference final, that's why their number is what it is. Now, returning to play, I'm seeing you can get the Hurricanes to win the East around plus 260 or 70, I believe, on FanDuel, BetMGM. I forget exactly which one. And to me, that would be, of those 4 sides of the bracket, getting through the Metro seems the easiest. And if you're in the conference final, I mean, you got to win 1 round and you can cash that bet. So Carolina would be my favorite currently to come out of the East.
Plus 280, Tampa Bay plus 200. And like you said, if you had to choose one of the 4 that you were most sure about, I think it's Carolina for sure. Tampa Bay, like, Victor Hedman came back for like 3 games. He was playing 17 minutes, goes to Italy, and they're like, all right, Victor, give us 22. And now he's injured again, right? We've seen what Radish can do. He can pick up the slack, but all of a sudden, points down, Hedman's down again. This is a team that I probably couldn't even name the number 2 line. Sorelli's down. Like Gergensen might be up there.
What do you mean? Latvia's leading scorer?
Yeah. No, there's another. What's the other one's name? You got
Bluger?
Gage, what's that? Gage Goncalves is up there
On Tampa.
Bay.
Yeah. So what they were doing, with point out, they were going with Hagel, Sorelli, Kucherov to try to allow Gensel to breathe with Gonsalves and Jesus. And then I guess Bjorkstrand's a bum because they keep him on the fourth line regardless.
He's power play. He's a power play specialist at this point of his career.
You know who they're gonna get? They're gonna get Blake Coleman. They brought Gord back. They brought McDonough back. Yeah. No, this is just a conspiracy theory based on the fact they keep trying to get the band back together year after year. But Tampa has shown these last couple of, well, first of all, they haven't won a playoff series. I think they're 0 for 4 in their last 4 playoff series. Yes, they've run into the Panthers a couple times, but what they have shown is they can be red hot to end the year, and it didn't carry on. Like, they lost in 5 games last year. They were the hottest team going into the playoffs.
If you shut down Kucherov, like you beat Tampa Bay. Easier said than done, but that's it.
And come playoff time, it becomes easier to do that when the refs are, slightly less willing to blow something dead or, call a penalty, call a ticky-tack hooking call on Kucherov.
Florida Panthers, number 3 betting favorite to win the East, by the way, which makes it doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense. If they get into the playoffs, they can go on a run, but they're more probable not to make the playoffs. It's an interesting one.
You're right. So while I was on the break, so the way the Olympics work, now I can talk about this. What was offered on each site varied dramatically. And the best prices you could get for a player prop, whether it was shots on goal or point prop over and under, would be on Bet Rivers. The problem is Bet Rivers, it doesn't let you combine anything. So sometimes if you want to take the under on Vincent Trocheck in the gold medal game for minus 340 or 375, you need something to pair it with. And you don't know how much Nathan McKinnon, Rocket Richard I have because I needed something to pair with these bets to bring it closer to even. But anyway, while I was there, I'm like, while I'm here, let me look at some futures. And on only Bet Rivers, if you happen to, now look, there's no bigger Panthers guy than me. If they didn't have so many guys in the Olympics, I'm like, they'll come out of this gate 10-2 here to allow them a chance to final 10 games to get in. Their guys played some rough minutes. Their guys really, they're key contributors. You're talking about Bennett Marchand, they played until the gold medal game, and then Kachuk, and then all the Finns. And then remember, they've been to 3 straight Stanley Cups. It takes something. It's going to take something during this final push, and it's so hard. But I couldn't stop myself because it was over plus 2,000 or something only on Bet Rivers. So if you happen to be there and you're not limited to $1 bets or whatever, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. So there, you did that. Yeah, I just put $60 on them to win the East because I saw it at like plus 2,200. Just because I don't want to be livid if they go on a run. I'll be like, why did I not just sprinkle a little, just some change on it? So if you're like me and you like to play prevent misery defense, I look down the road and see what would piss me off. If the Panthers make the playoffs and I go, why didn't I just at least sprinkle a couple of, that's how I work. How can I not be pissed at myself in the future? And if it costs $60 to prevent that from happening, I'll do it. And that's what I did. So if you want to hop on that bandwagon, I'm sure it's still around the same price because there haven't been any games. But how
about McDavid plus 900 for the Hart, which is bananas price? No.
What's your thought on McKinnon's injury status? How many games?
So when you just mentioned that you have a lot of liability on McKinnon Rocket, my first thought was,
I saw.
I would be very scared.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I think he worked through a lot. And we were talking about it on my show the other day when we were making fun of Nick Suzuki and what he made Nathan McKinnon look like. I think now when we look back at that entire tournament, Nathan McKinnon wasn't right for the entirety of it. You saw him get bodied off the puck by Zach Werenski in overtime. Like he got little Boyd in that spot. And I know maybe it's a flu, maybe it's norovirus, but like it took some out of him and he played through it. So I don't know if there will be any repercussions from it that follow it to Colorado, because Colorado without Nathan MacKinnon is maybe Tampa Bay without Nikita Kucherov. Obviously, Brock Nelson steps up a bit, and you do have Kel McCarr, but I would be worried.
Oh, very, very, very worried. I had no other options, Josh. There was no, like, I couldn't. I looked at every NHL option, and, you know, don't send me to, like, the UFC card, all right? Because then I'm just clicking
That's
something.
fine, yeah.
I need it. All I know is, like, I need to take this Vincent Trocheck under.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, my thought was if they return to play, and I suspect McKinnon's thing is going to be real, I could take someone else to win the Rocket Richard at a pretty crazy price. So that was my thought behind that. But I think the Avalanche, aren't they like 500 over their last 15, 20 games? They had a lot of losses.
A ridiculous pace, right? Like it's falling off. And the last thing that probably shows up in the market, and it's always this award. It's always Adams Award. It's the slowest moving award of all time, because at the top you got John Cooper, Lindy Ruff, Jared Bednar, right? Dan Muse is the next guy at 12-1. Like Pittsburgh, no thanks. I get it. That's not even close. Like if you bring, I got some like Rick Bonus, like 60-1, because if he goes on a run like that and gets him into the playoffs, sure, you're going to see it. Ryan Wiersowski, 70-1. He's gotten longer, but I just don't think it's like, does John Cooper really win Coach of the Year if Tampa Bay has like the best record in the East? Does Jared Bednar win Coach of the Year if they don't get like 120 points or get close to that Boston number from a few years back with Allmark and Swayman? Todd McClellan at number 5. Is Detroit really there? I just think that one's still wide open in terms of what could happen.
Yeah, so toss a couple clicks on there. You mentioned Nikita Kucherov being a huge part of the Lightning's success, how they kind of drive the whole team. Same way McKinnon was going to, you know, everything's going to look completely different if he doesn't play, which is going to bring me to a award that now is very much up in the air, and one that has factored in Nathan MacKinnon's potential lingering injury status, because when I left for the Olympics, when I headed to Milan, the co-favorite for the Art Ross Trophy was essentially Nathan MacKinnon, Connor McDavid. We come out of the Olympics. I return home from my tough traveling, my tough curling pokes.
Yeah.
And
dig. Canada dig. And now Nikita Kucherov's a betting favorite.
Yeah. How about that? I don't think any curlers, I haven't had a place to say this, no curlers should be allowed to stay in the Olympic Village. These guys have beer guts. They're doing nothing right now. Like they're at CVS, just like a random person waiting in line. Having this guy potentially, right next to Nathan MacKinnon, that's a disgrace.
And they're there for like before the opening ceremony too. It's like the first sport too, so they get a lot to go down there, right? Imagine like you're married to like whatever, a 6, you're a 6, your wife's a 6, and you're going to you're going to all the best athletes in the world. Your wife's like, please, Andy, please practice patience out there. Yeah.
Seriously, in the Olympic cafeteria, it should be straight up curlers. You're eating in that cafeteria. Real athletes, you're eating over here.
Just a sandwich board that says curlers with an arrow to the right as soon as you walk in. Yeah.
1,000%.
A hot dog cart instead of anything else.
I just hate that they say like they're an Olympic athlete. No, they're an Olympian. I'll leave it at that. So, coming out of it, you have Nikita Kucherov. Now, I know, I think it varies by, but I know Caesars has Connor McDavid minus 110. When it comes to this bet, you're a big value guy, and that's the way you should be, because in the long run, that's how probably people remain professional sports bettors and continue to make sustained profits. But there's a certain level of loyalty when it comes with me. And every time, even on the channel or whatever, we've clicked that damn name, Connor McDavid. including most points in the Olympics, which was plus 650 on BetMGM. He had a head-to-head points bet, minus 182 versus Jack Eichel. Doesn't feel like, a great price or anything. But all Connor McDavid does for me is continue to come through. Obviously, Conn Smythe. So just in the same thing I said about not wanting to regret anything, I'm going to take this slightly better price that we're now seeing at McDavid. It was 135 going into the Olympic break. You can now get it at plus 155 on Fanduel, plus 160 on BetMGM. And I'm going to take that while I am scared because Kucherov is a rested guy just piling up massive. It's just 5 points a night for Nikita Kucherov.
He's averaging like 2.5 points per game since before Christmas. But like that's unsustainable. Let's be honest, right? It's unsustainable. And you get Connor McDavid at a better price with a 5-point lead. And do you not think that, like, after watching the Olympics, just how much better McDavid is than everybody, where they had to give him the MVP after putting the silver over his neck, right? Like, if you're not going to find a person who's the best at what they do and can't find this a motivating factor outside of maybe a lingering injury issue, but I didn't see anything like that.
Exactly. That's why, because he looked fine. He looked healthy. And I see no reason like last year or another to shut him down for like 3 weeks because they're number 2 in the division. So while I believe if they were like number 3 and they could, but if they can win the division and have home ice, I think they'll play. I think the Oilers will play.
Division, home ice, Art Ross, and that plus 950 for MVP, isn't ridiculous, right? Like I get what Macklin Celebrini's doing, but like, is he the most valuable? Like maybe he's 2x, but like,
well, he's got to make the playoffs.
That's it. That's your narrative. Make the playoffs 2x times Will Smith's points where your points are. Sure. That's a vote, but I'll take Connor McDavid at plus 950 now, just down to 9-1 now as I'm seeing it, as I'm talking. But that's it. Art Ross MVP, first place. If he goes on a fuck you moment, like the league's in trouble.
Yeah, and he could be livid after that. Now, I don't know, man. It's rare that I feel for a guy. I feel for a guy, man. I really do. Just having those 3 losses in a short period of time where you're leading the playoffs in points, you're leading, this competition in points. And Game 7s, there's nothing you can do. I know people are going to say, yeah, but look at when it comes to not Game 7 in round 1, Game 7 in like a Stanley Cup. It's just there are no goals to be had. Nathan MacKinnon, he's a clutch performer, no points. It's so hard in those final games, and he's so much better than everyone else. I just legitimately feel bad for him because if anyone tries any of that, like, yeah, but the guy won nothing. I don't know. I feel bad for him. He deserves 0. Like Josh Allen lost that game for the Buffalo Bills. He lost it for them. He's just throwing picks and turnovers and fumbles. Connor McDavid comes through for them every single postseason and every single competition. I feel for the guy, I tell you.
I don't think you'll see longer than plus 900 on McDavid all year, though. From here on out.
Yeah. Best player. They love giving him awards. Because that was an easy one to not make him swallow another pill like that. They could have just given it to Hellebuck, as they should. But I learned after the fact that the voting was after the first period.
That's brutal, because I did look into it. It said that it wasn't, that I looked at and it's like the IHF guys, like it's not writers, it's like random human beings. No, but you're probably right. Like they have to send in their vote at some point within the game, right?
And then at that point, if it was the end of the first, I wouldn't argue with them because had you not seen the rest of that game, you can give it to, but yeah, I feel for the guy and it's rare you're going to get him at those odds. And if Celebrini doesn't get them to the playoffs, he's eliminated. Maybe McKinnon has some strategic rest. Then you can win out on are they going to give the MVP to a guy who missed 20 games? As Andy loses his Rocket Richard bet, which means McKinnon would win which means McDavid would also probably win the Rocket Richard because he's the next closest, I believe. So
Ottawa plus 220 to make the playoffs is not a bad thing. They've had no goaltending. They're a great team. They're deep. I don't know. I think there's something there. Brady's been. We were talking about it the other day. Brady's better than Matthew, but Matthew, you're not saying Matthew's much of a hockey player to begin with. So Ottawa's there at plus like 220.
What do you mean? He's a top 10 forward in the NHL, according to NHL Network and just random people.
USA. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, but I think anybody can make or miss the playoffs. I know we both at the same time. You probably did it before me, so just know I wasn't trying to steal it. But as soon as I saw Crosby get hurt, I was like, I wonder what the Penguins are to miss the playoffs. I'm like, oh, wow, whatever it was at the time, they probably adjusted it. But it seems like almost every team in the East can make or miss other than the two big boys. The Isles, they could miss.
Yeah. 100%.
Pittsburgh, they can miss. Detroit, they can miss. I mean, these teams, everyone's seemingly one rough patch away from really struggling. What about these Sabres? Are they finally
not doing anything at the deadline? It's coin flip season.
It is. It's different than years past, man. Like so many teams are in it, out of it.
We've been betting Pittsburgh, right? Like the Crosby line hasn't even been scoring, right? It's like the Noel Achari, the Achari line that I want to mark it on because that fourth line seems to be hitting triple stacks every game.
Stupid because it's like, you know, people then they call you haters, this, that, and the other. Carolina dominated Washington last year. They disposed of them in 5. They had the best record in the East. They were the best team in the East. You know, and it's you seem like a hater when you're like, this is a scam 1 seed. This is not a true 1 seed. And then that gets, you know, proven in the playoffs. And some of these teams in the East, Detroit's going nowhere. Sorry, Stevie Bong Rips. He's a longtime listener.
I know, but John Gibson had been on a hell of a run, right? Like that was getting them through. If John Gibson plays slightly above average goaltending in the league, the team's still in that 8, 9. Like, are they better than Boston? Are they better than Columbus? Maybe a little better, but Columbus. But like Boston's a team that the market hates as well too. That just seems to be winning hockey games. Plus 115 to make the playoffs. I think the fair price at Money Puck has it like minus 157, so value there too.
Do you still think Colorado has a stronghold on going to the Stanley Cup?
No. We've seen who did they lose to in the second round? Like 3 years ago?
So they've lost to Dallas the last 2 years.
And then a shittier team. Who was it? Oh, Dallas knocked him out in round 2? No, 3 years ago. I think.
I know. I'm about to get. I know who it is. I just don't even want to say it.
It's sad.
It brings up bad memories.
For sure, because I was on Colorado for a run that year too,
because they won the Stanley Cup and ended the season, the hottest team, and won the division on the last day. Everything. The reason I told everyone to trust the Panthers last year, I said, don't worry about them not having a great winners. We'll just turn it on. They lost to the Seattle, as I termed them after that, the Cockroach Kraken, who even took Dallas to 7. And we haven't heard from them before or after. They literally just inserted themselves to screw me that year and then disappeared back into the night for years.
That's an asterisk. That's an asterisk year for Seattle, for sure. But that's what I mean. Like, that's what you can run into, right? One bad injury, 2 in the playoffs sinks you. I just think that the path of least resistance that Carolina has, they don't have to face Florida, is the easiest path from each 4 quadrants of the divisions to get where you need to go. Colorado could run into trouble. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, they will get a wild card team, which should be good for them, so they don't have to, play Dallas and Minnesota. But yeah, so we are
Minnesota, Edmonton. Like the path to get somewhere is nasty, and then
it's tougher than the Islanders or Pittsburgh.
No, yeah. Oh, watch out, yeah. 75-year-old Evgeny Malkin is really going to turn it up this year.
Yeah, so I guess Josh and I are both on the same on the same side when it comes to that. Unless there was anything else you wanted to point out, Josh, what should, as I go into trying to do some daily videos during the final stretch here, what do you think should be in the back of my mind? Like, are you kind of just going to kind of see how it goes? Are we still playing? Is the schedule still just as condensed, by the way? Or
yes,
was it?
I believe the schedule's just as condensed. It wasn't just like totally front loaded and now they'll go. And that's one of the biggest things we've seen this year. Like, what does home ice mean anything when you travel that much? 3 and 4, does that mean anything back to back? No, it really doesn't. You're just starting to see teams with 2 1A, 1B goaltenders probably be better spots, right? Is Carol Velchmelka really the number 1 winning goalie in hockey? Does that deserve to be at end year where we are with this league? Probably not, but it could be. But we'll see what coaches do. Go look at who had the most players there. Florida, I think, had 10, maybe 9. Tampa Bay had a ton. I think Toronto only had 3. But there's a lot of teams who guys had a lot of miles. Florida's fucked, all right? Like,
Yeah,
even Nikola were like playing big minutes. And that's not a small guy to put minutes on his speedometer.
Now, are we betting on Russians because they're rested, or were they just holed up drinking vodka and now they're coming back out of shape?
That's about as speculative as you can get, right? Sure, they've been rested, but is that a good thing? Like, I'd say maybe the teams like Czechia and Slovakia, the guys who got good runs, like they're probably in the best form to get to come back. Maybe the teams that got to go a little early, like the German teams, right? Like Leon's probably in a good spot. Stutzel's in a good spot. Paterka's in a good spot. But I don't think you should just be listening to people saying, yeah, they're rested, they're ready to go. Do you think like Vasilevsky's in a good spot because he's been off for 2 weeks and hasn't seen a puck? I think
that's the worst spot.
I think that's more detrimental than anything else.
Yeah, the goalies. So Sorokin, Vasilevsky, the 2 leading Vezina candidates, both not seeing pucks. And if anyone ever needs one last reminder, look at Vasilevsky's play when they made the Stanley Cup. Look what he did in the opening 2 rounds, and then what happened after they swept the Panthers. The President's Trophy Panthers had over 2 weeks off, struggled the rest of the playoffs, and they lost to Stanley Cup. And he was unbeatable against at the end towards the Leafs, and then that series against the Panthers. So that's definitely something to think about. Josh, thank you so much for coming on. Little rest of the season look ahead show here. We'll see how it goes. It's been a very weird season. You know, it's definitely had, in my opinion, more lows than highs because it's been different than what we've seen so far in terms of trying to project what's going to happen on a game-to-game basis. NHL's one of the hardest sports to begin with. Thought we found some little holes last year, but the props haven't been coming through because there's line juggling left and right. It's been a wacky carnival year. Hopefully it ends better than it started. Looking forward to it. I'm sure you are too. Crank out those videos, buddy.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll be looking, I think Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be looking just for some mid-pack guys, like right at the bottom of the scroll on the points prop, where it's like, hey, Nick Paul for a point. Right. But like, it's just, that's all you're hoping is you're getting extra value from a guy who plays 14 minutes and maybe they bump him up to 16 and a half. And at the end of the day, that's a smart bet to make, but then you still have to win it to get the value. But hopefully if you make enough.
Struggling on that second part with some of these great values.
I can do the first part well, right? I tried to go around downtown, went to the beer store the other day, tried to pay closing line value. They didn't take any of my money. So
yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Maybe there's a business to be had there if
we can monetize closing line value.
Trade your closing line value for some credit card points or something like that.
Freebies, something.
Well, if you're a sportsbook out there looking to get ahead. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming here, sticking through the video, enjoying it. Give me a couple clicks. Give Josh a couple clicks, by the way. Go follow him on social media. He's got the covers videos that are over on Cover Sports, which, you should be able to see the link in this video down below, or I'll throw it at the end there. And then, show some appreciation here. Like, comment, subscribe, call your dad, ask him if he watched the game, then send him a link to this video. And then when he asked you, did you just ask me about the game so you could send me this link? Say, yeah, because this dirtbag asked me to do it, so I did it because I didn't want to have bad sports betting karma, which will be thrust upon you all if you don't give a couple clicks here. Yeah, that's right, urban legend style. All right, Josh, take it easy. I'm sure we will talk again soon.
All right, take care. See you guys.